Right guys, this time we're going to look at the Zereth Mortis transmog, mainly the cloaks, and talk about brute forcing markets. But first, let's have a look at the dashboard for the last 7 days. We're running at 6 million gold profit, making nearly 1 million gold profit a day. At this point of an expansion is really nice. Lots of core for your transmog selling. This is nothing new, but the prices have really shot up over the last couple of months. A detailed look at the sales, and now we can see even more core for your cosmetics dominating the weekly numbers. Some 12-year hieroglyphs, that could well be the last of those I ever sell, with the 927 changes wrecking that market for me. A couple of mounts, some island transmog, all pretty standard by now. On to purchases with nearly 1.4 million gold spent this week, and it's dominated by Zereth Mortis cosmetics. This is no surprise if you've been watching the streams and how much this stuff I've been buying up. The cloaks have been what I've been really concentrating on, but I've started picking up the cheaper weapons now too. So let's talk about the aim with these Zereth Mortis cosmetics. We are aiming here for a similar outcome as with the core for your transmog, although we will never get the prices up as high as we have done on that. These are all going to be a loss, which is normal at this stage, which I'm going to demonstrate on one of my core for your transmog bits, how these investments play out over time. This is June to October 2021 for the Necromancer's Mantle. You can see here I'm running at a loss with over 1.1 million gold spent and less than 1 million gold in sales. Retrospect makes us all look wise, but I shouldn't have been so concerned with bouncing the books at this point. 10 sales at 974k is less than 100k gold each. Same item, but now we're looking at June to December 2021. Now we have broken even, but our sales price has basically doubled since last time, because if we take away the 10 sales and the 1 million gold we had before, that leaves us with 9 sales and almost 2 million gold. So that's just over 200k gold each. So we're already ramping up our prices. A few months later, not much else has happened, just a few more solid sales at around the 200k mark. 1 year after it started, and this item is running at 6.2 million gold profit with over 100 still to sell. The most recent graph shows us closing in on 10 million gold profit with nearly 100 to sell, and as you saw on the 7-day dashboard, we are now selling these at close to 600k, and they are selling mostly because I hold almost all the stock in the EU and the US. If we managed to sell them all at my basic listing price, I would make around 65.3 million gold profit from this single item. This is basically how you hope it plays out when you invest heavily in hopes of driving up prices and making a profit. I showed that and how it develops over time, so hopefully when you look at my Zereth Mortis cloaks graphs next, you'll understand when I'm making big losses that this is a long-term game, so I don't expect to be breaking even for at least the next 6 months. Ebony Proto Cloak, 187 purchases averaging at 5,700 gold each. Not a single sale yet to start recuperating my costs, probably because I was overcharged on these for a long time and only just made my prices a bit more reasonable. Dark Shawl of the Enlightened, 244 purchases for over 1.3 million gold. Single sale at around 100k recently, which is my new listing price for the last couple of weeks. If I can carry on getting a few more of those, it helps me take the edge of what I'm spending. I won't ever regret sales of 100k on these, as these will never be as in demand as the Necromancer's Mantle we looked at earlier. Majestic Oracle's Drape, 176 of these bought for less than 1 million gold. A crazy sale at almost 300k early on, but I've just carried on investing heavily since. Proto High Drape, another one with not a single sale and over 200 bought. It doesn't look great, does it? Do you think you can make profit by brute forcing a market, buying everything up and hoping for profit later on? We will have a look at that. Cape of the Regal Wanderer is the most successful Zereth Mortis cloak for me, and much more like what we want to see. 146 purchases for 865k, 4 sales for 741k, so I've effectively 142 of the cloaks at less than 1k gold each. This one is really looking promising. Finally, Sandtail's Drapes, and we have a couple of sales at around 100k each, which is really nice when the average buy price is around 6k. The main difference between these cloaks and the core for your transmog is that we're not getting many sales early on. This is my fault for overpricing them for a long time, but additionally I only really started doing this in August, so we wouldn't expect that many sales yet. Some overall numbers from the 27th of August to the 9th of September to the 25th of September, if your eyes can handle the shockingly bad Excel. The main thing to note is my overall stock on Zereth Mortis cloaks has gone from 420 at the end of August to 1,069 by the end of September. That's a huge increase in such a short space of time. Funnily enough, my average buy price has actually gone down the more I buy. The total number of cloaks on the auction house across the whole EU and US is increasing from 2,982 in August to 3,168 on the 25th of September, but this doesn't tell the full story. All of this increase has come from the EU side as the US has dropped from 1,341 to just over 1,000 cloaks on the auction house in the last month. When you start seeing drops in quantities like this, it can be a sign that you're getting control of a market. Prices start increasing, so things are looking good on the US side. I just need a little more control in the EU. Now, I mentioned earlier about brute forcing a market that is basically buying up so many over a period of time that prices have to go up if it's something that people are buying. The problem with this is it requires a big investment and you have no idea how it will work out. If supply into the market is higher than sales, then you will endlessly be buying stuff up to try and control the market. But that is why we target things that we know supply will drop, like with the Corphia and Zereth Mortis transmog. So does brute forcing a market work? Well, it can do. The best example of me brute forcing a market with success is the cheaper, more common Croak Corphia shoulders. There are much higher quantities of these on the auction house than any of the other Corphia transmog I sell. I bought 1,062 pairs of these to get control of the market. That was mostly in October last year, and as you can see, I've only just turned a profit recently. 107 sales at just under 5.5 million gold leaves me nearly 1,000 pairs of these shoulders still to sell. Currently, I'm making around 500k gold a week from these, and I have enough of these to keep this going for years. Death Enveloped shoulder spikes are some more common transmog I tried brute forcing. 1,129 purchases also around last October, but with only 51 sales at short of 2.9 million gold with a long way to go to break even. Now this will turn profit eventually, just because the supply will drop when no one is in Corphia come Dragonfly, but if it wasn't for this fact, this would be looking concerning. So can you brute force markets? Yes, you can, but it has to be a special set of circumstances when you know holding a large amount of stock is less of a risk, such as when you know that stock is going to get rarer over time. Now this does require carrying a huge amount of stock to achieve this. In fact, I have almost 3 times more stock than are on sale across every EU and US auction house combined on those last 2 examples I showed. The Zereth Mortis cloaks is also a market that could be brute forced, and this is why I'm not too concerned when I've been buying these up and running at a loss. That would be expected at this stage. It looks like I'm carrying a huge amount of stock of them, but I only have around 200 of each, and you can see in some cases I've had to buy over 1,000 and wait a year, and even then I'm still going to be waiting to turn a profit. The profits will come, it will just take patience, but this is a market we will be keeping an eye on in this series to see how it all turns out. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot more to invest here before the end of Shadowlands. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.